Look, okay, this is one of those builds that I'm only covering for the sake of completion, and in case it gets buffed in the future. I really don't like it, and this time I'm allowed to say that because it's not even good. We're talking about Power Renegade today, and mind you, this is the pure DPS version. The Alacrity version is a bit of a different story. It's a little hard to actually talk about the playstyle properly because it's not been updated in a long time. The core principle is extremely easy though. You've got a handful of good skills, mostly your F2 and Sword 2, and you use those off cooldown, burning down your energy, and filling up space with auto attacks until it's time to swap legends. The worst thing you can do is swap out early and miss the Charged Mist proc, or press Sword 3. Sword 3 is just really bad. If you're wondering why you're not using the crit buff from Roiling Mists on this, it's because it's redundant with Brutal Momentum, a minor in Renegade. Though it's worth noting that it's entirely unrealistic to expect to have permanent uptime on the 33% crit buff from that trait. So maybe don't build your gear around that one. This is also one of those old builds that can have problems with small hitboxes because of how the projectiles of multiple of your damage skills works. Again, mainly the F2. So if you're fighting anything that doesn't have a large hitbox, you might notice that your damage is dropping for no apparent reason. This is the reason. Your survivability is okay. You've got solid base stats, and Dance of Death gives you some sustain, though due to some changes, Swift Termination might be better now damage-wise. Maybe, I'm not actually sure. But you can double down on the lifesteal with Battle Scarred if you really want to. Also, the Kala Elite got buffed, which gives you group-wide lifesteal, so there's that. In theory, you can make a really simple bruisery build out of this with Roiling Mists, Dragon Gear, and Battle Scarred, but honestly, Herald is just better for that purpose. You do have some solid utility options. Inherently, you only have CC, but you do have a lot of it. But you can always swap out Shiro for extremely good stab, or permanent reflect plus some cleanse. Malix, I guess, has a boon strip, but you only want to use that if absolutely no one else is willing to do it, and you don't want to swap to Herald. Yeah, honestly, I got a hard time recommending this thing. It's playable enough if you really love Kala as a legend, and have the need to play a power build with it, but the playstyle has been a bit abandoned and doesn't offer much that you're not also going to find with Herald or Vindicator. But it sure is a build that exists. I can say that with certainty.